Welcome back to episode 2 of season 3 of 3 Growlers. Today we're going to be talking about spring and summer seasonals, and we're going to be talking about Kolsch's and Saisons and all sorts of great beers. Plus we have some special guests and special giveaways. So grab a beer and kick back with us. I'm Will.
I'm Vicky.
Jason.
Aaron.
And I'm Chris.
Here's you guys. Prost!
Woo! Prost!
Okay, before we get into the beers tonight, I want to introduce our special guest growler. Welcome Chris Twite to the garage.
Thank you very
This
much.
is Chris Twite from Liftbridge Brewing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for Liftbridge?
Well, I started with Liftbridge just a short while ago. Before that, I have 10.5 years in the craft beer industry. I work for a beer distributor, and now I've changed over to working for a brewery. My primary job is to go around to accounts both on premise and off premise and make sure that we can maximize everybody's exposure to Liftbridge, because we make some of the best beers in Minnesota and we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to try them.
So what are your 3 favorite Liftbridges? Just off the top of your head.
My number 1 favorite is our Farm Girl Saison. It's a beautiful traditional Saison with Belgian yeast that gives a large spice character in the nose, and super easy drinking on a hot summer day. My second favorite would probably be our hop dish. That's our IPA. We brew it with 7 different varieties of hops, so you get a nice large bouquet of tropical citrus notes, a little bit slight fruity, and also the distinct pine notes that you get from a lot of the IPAs in the marketplace today.
Okay. How about one beer that you like that's not from Liftbridge?
Well, I'm actually unfortunately you can't get it in Minnesota, but I'm a big sucker for Dogfish Head's 60-minute IPA.
That's a really good beer. I've had that one. So good choices. Well, welcome to the show. We look forward to getting your input.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So for those of you guys who've been following our show, last set of episodes we were talking about cat maps. Well, Cat Maps was generous enough to give us one to give away. So give us a comment down on our YouTube channel, and this is only for our YouTube folks. So if you guys are listening to this on any of our other podcast channels, be sure to go over to our channel over on YouTube and leave us a channel. Just search for Beerploma. And here's the cat map back here, and I think they're going to give away any state that you guys want. So, and remember guys, that if you guys go to Cat Maps, and we're going to put the website at the very bottom of the screen here, and you enter in the promo code Beerploma, you're going to get 15% off your entire order. So head on over to Cat Maps and order one of these, because Father's Day is coming up. And don't forget to enter in a chance to win one of them free right here on this show and our YouTube channel. Prost. Okay guys, welcome back. As we discussed earlier, we were talking about spring seasonals today. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite seasonals, and that's the Kolsch style beer. So here we got one of Minnesota's, probably their most known Kolsch style beer, and this is from Lake Superior Brewing. It's their Kayak Kolsch. Nobody really knows the ABV on it. I did a little bit of research on it, but couldn't find the ABV on it. But we're guessing it's probably going to be less than 5%, as just tradition with most Kolsch's. Before we pour the beer, though, I'm going to give off the company description here. This is a bright yellow gold hue, fresh floral hops aroma, followed through on a dry, lightish bodied palate and a clean, pale malt flavor with floral hop finish. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching style, and it earned a silver medal at the World Beer Championship. So what do you think, guys? Should we tap into this one?
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so we got this one all poured out. Now, I really love Kolsch's. For me, it's the sign that summer is coming. It's the perfect lawnmower beer. It's light, it's crisp, doesn't leave a whole lot of aftertaste to it, and I really love Kolsch's. So,
You know, I had never actually had a Kolsch till I met you.
okay.
And you described it to me, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about where Kolsch beers come from and the history behind them? Because I know they have an interesting history.
They do have a very good history. So in Germany, as the rise of Pilsners started coming in across from the Czech Republic, where the town of Pilsen is, as they started sweeping across Germany, cities started coming up with different ways to combat these new light lagers that were coming up. And one city called Cologne, which is Köln, or K-O-L-N in German, devised their own beer that was kind of a hybrid. It wasn't quite an ale and it wasn't quite a lager. It was fitting somewhere in between. And it became known as the Kolsch beer. Now, in Germany and in most of Europe, there is actually a law that states in order for it to be labeled a Kolsch, it actually has to be brewed within sight of the cathedral in Cologne. Nowadays, I think that that's been broadened to include as long as it's within the Cologne city limits, but traditionally it was you had to be within sight of the cathedral. Anything outside of that has to be labeled a Kolsch style beer. So technically right now we're drinking a Kolsch style beer, not a Kolsch. But here in the U.S. we don't have those laws. So it's kind of the history of the Kolsch overall. So what do you guys think of the flavors? So now we've had a minute to taste this one and talk about Kolsch's a little bit. What are you guys thinking?
I think when you first take your first smell of the beer, it's very, very faint, very light. You get very slight citrus. I'm getting like lemongrass, and also like a pale straw smell to it.
Is that typical for Kolsch's?
Yes, that's very typical. It is a very light style of beer, meant to be, drank in session. It's something that people are meant to be able to drink in quantity without falling off their seats.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because it is so easy drinking, and with the low ABV, you could definitely mow a lot of lawn with one of these on a day.
Probably the Growler. So yeah. It's a very good beer. It's very solid for me. It's very well put together. It has its hop presence, but you can still taste the malt out of it. None of it is overpowering. It's very light. It lingers a little bit on the palate, but then kind of fades away. But I'm getting most of the flavors that you were describing.
It has a nice effervescence to it, and I think that definitely plays well with the carbonation and the hop presence in it. It gives you more of a dry finish to it, which it cleanses your palate right away when you're done. So you don't get a strong lingering flavor like you mentioned.
I think that if you have friends that you're trying to get into craft beer, a Kolsch style would be a great beer to introduce them to, especially if they're used to drinking like Millers and light beers that are from the bigger box companies.
That's a call out. That's a great call out. This is a great gateway beer. This is something that you could introduce to just about any beer drinker out there, and I don't think they'd be overly offended.
It's trading wheels.
Trading wheels.
Yeah. So, you got any other Kolsch style beers that are local or from the States that you like to drink?
Absolutely. Minnesota's got a couple of really well-known ones. The first one is a seasonal beer. It's Shell Summer Seasonal, and that's their Zomerfest. And then also one of my personal favorites is Mankato Original from Mankato Brewing. And they brew that one to a very strict traditional style. So that's about this and Mankato Original are probably the two closest that I've ever had to a traditional Kolsch's that I've had in Germany.
Oh, that says a lot.
Well, it was a really good beer.
That was very delicious.
Let's try that one again. Well, guys, I think that was a really good beer. Well, here's to spring and summer. Prost.
Fantastic.
Prost.
Well, guys, that's all for our episode on Spring Seasonal. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And don't forget, if you want to enter in on one of our giveaways, make sure to leave a comment down on our YouTube channel, down in the comments section, and also click the like button and let us know you're out there. So we're also available out on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and a lot of other podcast directories. And don't forget to visit our blog at beerploma.com. That's all for tonight. Prost.
Prost.
Prost.